This is Bruce Buffer, and this is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for the MMA-Holes!
Mixed martial a-holes. MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes. You like to be a mixed martial a-hole. MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes.
No way.
From the aunts and uncles studios of Arizona, Triller Triad Combat Recap. Fighters get highest payday, and UFC catches some heat. MMA news with the MMA-Holes.
She almost started crying.
Ellie's staring at me. Hi, Ellie. Hi. Ellie's giving me the look like, who are you yelling at?
She was like almost crying, and then she didn't know if she should cry or not.
It's cool. She's giving me the look like, she's looking at me like she's like, and her head's all pushed back. Like, yeah, it's cool. Everything's good. Welcome to the show, friends. We got Connor in the background. We got Ariel chapping away, all chatting away, and we got Jesse here.
Yes, sir.
Tonight, we discuss the MMA news on the MMA Holes Hour. This is episode number 202, and Triller happened Saturday. No UFC. We had Triller. There was boxing, but I don't care. I was like, oh, it's so great, so great. I don't care about. I don't even know who fought, and you know what? I don't care. But Triller happened, and they dragged us into Triller with Metallica. Metallica played, we watch, and I really liked it. I mean, maybe I'm nuts, but I thoroughly enjoyed Triller. It was a damn good time. The fights were okay, some moments of interest, but I'm thinking of it like this. If I'm so entertained during an event and the fights were meh, they're doing something right. The production was on point. There was cringe. There was some celebrity aspect to it. The musical guest was banging. I mean, Metallica is Metallica. I mean, whether you like them or not, there was something for everybody. Mm. And it was really interesting. And all I could think about is if they progress and more well-known fighters jump into this Triller situation of a blend of boxing with modified rules to kind of help out the MMA fighters a little bit. MMA versus boxing is something we've been debating for a little while now, and Triller has wrapped that up into a triangular ring, which they stole from BYB. We'll see what happens with that lawsuit. But if you put aside the fact that they stole that idea, it was fun. In the third event, they really fixed up things that they were lacking in the previous two. And I did not hate it. This triad combat is the shit. It really is. Like, I have high hopes. Now, here's the problem. They are throwing a ton of money out. And I don't know how much they could have possibly made off of this thing because you're paying Metallica. You're paying these athletes Mike Perry got $250K. Mike Perry's never had $250,000 in one.
I'm sure he has.
In one paycheck? Never.
Yeah.
Never. Not even close. Mike Perry got two. Now, I don't know what Mitrione made. Frank Mir says he had his highest payday as well. And when we find out all the paydays, we'll get it to you guys. I don't know how a business could function just dishing money out in that direction. And I don't know really if they're seeing it back. With $20 a pay-per-view, people are stealing it. You know.
Well, I mean, I was going to say Ryan Kavanaugh's probably putting a good, decent chunk of his own change in there, but...
He's got a lot of money. I'm sure he's got a bunch of investors involved. You can tell that Triller has this, you know, this music background. It looked like a long-ass music video. And let me put this on the screen here. Hold on a second. I mean, we're just scrolling through their IG here. It legit felt like a music video. The best part about this is when the fights were over, you know, not only did Metallica play a couple of times throughout the show, they put on a full-blown concert at the end.
Yeah, that was the cool part. That was definitely the cool part. You know what? It's funny because I see more organizations doing this now. Because they're going to see that it worked, and they're going to see that it got attention, and they're going to start... I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more like musically oriented type combat shows in the near future.
I see in the chat it was way better because the music was better. So, you know, some people don't like Metallica, so they probably loathed it. But it was something for everybody. Now, if you're putting like Carney B or someone that I wasn't a big fan of, it probably wouldn't be as good. But I tell you what, $20 for some fights... I would probably still pay if there was a fighter on there that I was interested in.
Yeah.
And as for the concert, I might check it out and make fun of it. I don't know. You know, like, if they keep on putting on legends, though, like if they keep on putting people out there that are just icons in the music industry, I mean, you kind of want to check in. So I don't know what they can't have Metallica every single time. You know, I'm assuming they're going to have some duds here and there. Maybe they'll have Drake or something. I have no idea. But still, as a whole, I found it very enjoyable. Now, I don't know if it's because of the fluff of Metallica. I don't know if that's... I would have to see another event. But the 3 events that happened, you know, we had our criticisms, but watching them progressively get better and pull the... Like the first one with Jake Paul...
Lars went through 2 oxygen
The first one with Jake Paul was really clunky. You know, like the camera angles were all screwy. It was this weird lighting where it just kind of wasn't clear and it was just like muffled. It looked like it was foggy in there. It was just awkward. And then the second one, you know, they fixed that up a little bit, but the angles were goofy and weird. This one here, it felt like they just tightened everything up. There's the production-wise, there really is nothing for me to complain about. The thing was clean. Clean. It's crazy, man. And it had that blend. Boxing, it was really essentially boxing, but it had a little bit of the MMA flair in there. And Team MMA won. You know? Makes it interesting. It's pulling my interest. I don't hate it.
Says musically oriented combat shows are a terrible idea. I don't think they mix well at all. Just give us more fights, not old-ass rock bands.
Here's the thing. It's not a terrible idea. Because what they're doing is they're bringing music fans in that just want to see the artist, and then they're watching these fights. I'm like, well, that was kind of fun. I tell people all the time with hockey, if you go to an event, if you get your ass in the building and watch a hockey game live, you can convert a lot of people that couldn't stand hockey.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, wait, hold on a second. This is a lot of fun.
I have heard that. That is true.
So I have friends that I've done that with. I feel if you're a music fan and a music lover, and you go to an event, and you're like, I want to see my artist perform, but in between, there's fights. Next thing you know, they're like, wow, that was wild. They might get into it. You're pulling in a whole new market, a whole new audience. Boxing's been doing this forever, right? They have the fight fans. Boxing is the sweet science, and people are just, you know, just following along, and other organizations pop up, and leagues, and whatever. It's just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
The UFC comes in, with the mixed martial arts aspect, it's fresh. You got this octagon. It's a cage. All different types of martial arts fighting with each other. It's great. I love the UFC. UFC is always going to be top for me. But an organization, they're a dime a dozen.
Do you think the UFC at some point would start adding music to their shows?
I think the UFC will stick to the formula until they feel threatened. And honestly, I don't think they're going to feel threatened anytime soon. I think there always is going to be that market for the UFC.
Kavanaugh's really targeting Dana White.
Yeah, he's just trying to get in the news. The UFC is already doing their own thing. right? What's happening with Triller is they're looking at everything else, the BKFCs, the regional promotions, the boxing, MMA, the whole deal. They're looking at all that stuff and like, all right, how can we stand out? Money. They got the money. They got the backing here. So let's blend music and fighting. There are going to be people that resist this. And you know what?
Of course, because people don't like change.
Yes.
People like, if something is the way that it has always been, it should always stay that way. It shouldn't be changed. And if it's changed, they can't grow with it.
Grumpy people hate change. Grumpy people just like, they want their dinner the same every night. It tastes good. Why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
We're not trying to fix anything here. It's just giving us more options. You don't have to watch Triller. You don't have to watch boxing. You don't have to watch the UFC. You can watch whatever you want. But I like options. I like the idea that we have different ways to go here, switching it up. If Triller did a bare knuckle fight, we've seen that already. If Triller did traditional boxing, we've seen that already. If Triller did MMA, we've seen that already. How do you be different? You throw music in there.
Or dancers.
What do you mean?
I don't
Dancers.
know. I'm just coming up with things.
No, we don't need any new ideas.
Fireworks.
There's been fireworks. They do that already.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. If you do a giant arena,
fireworks?
if you do an open arena, there's fireworks. What are you talking about?
Or hula dancers.
Okay. Anyway.
Steam rockets.
What? The hell's a steam rocket?
You know, like those things of steam that like shoot up in the air from the stage? It's the rocket of steam.
It's safe to say Jesse's fight league is not going to work out too well. But no, seriously though, if you really think about this is good.
Yeah.
This is really good. You don't have to watch Triller. You don't. I mean, listen, if you're not into music, if you don't want to see that act, that guest, I mean, you know, that performer, you don't have to watch it, you know? But for $20, people are more likely. I mean, the UFC's $70. Boxing's like $80 for one fight. Think about boxing. One fight, you're paying $80. One fight. Come on. The UFC, $70, you get a full card, right? Usually it's pretty entertaining throughout, right? But if it's a bunch of shit fights, you're seeing stinkers. Just you're paying your $70 and it's just stinker after stinker after stinker. With Triller, we had let's be honest, the fights were okay. They weren't great. But because of the circus aspect, because of the fact that we had Metallica as the musical guest, I didn't mind the fact that those fights were you know? If you just put those fights on a card, it would have tanked. It would have completely tanked. Now think about this. What if the stars line up? What if the music act matches the intensity of the fights and you have the perfect storm? I mean, it's an explosion of entertainment. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's good. I really do. And, you know, I could be a grumpy old man and sit here and be like, oh, that's so cheesy. It's cringe. It's this and that. I know.
She agrees.
But honestly, I just think it's getting better and better. And companies like BYB, which I want to check out their promotion. They've been tagging us in some stuff. They did originate the triangle ring. I want to see what they have here. But they're at a huge disadvantage. BYB, BKFC, you know, these other promotions are, when you got mega pockets like Triller that are just going to keep on dumping money into something until it works, it's a problem. I hope they all could coexist. But the way Triller's going right now, I mean, the sky's the limit. It really is. Jess, what do you think?
I think midget wrestlers should kick off fight shows from now on. And there should be, kind of like how Metallica did a whole concert afterward, there should be like a whole event for midget wrestling afterwards.
Jesse's bringing the comic relief tonight. What do you guys think of the chat?
Ringo's going to be breastfed during rounds, I think he meant, says Raul. Two Joint says, what's next, Moss? A cage that's 20 feet in the air, a hanging cage. Hasbula says, B-man. Johnny Smith says, for fuck's sake. Two Joints says, Jesse, midgets' lives matters.
You know what was funny about this? Like, I understand Two Joints is a grumpy old man, so you know he's going to make grumpy old jokes. But the thing is, it wasn't even about the triangular ring. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were promoting the triangle ring and the whole deal. But they could have had a fucking sausage-shaped ring, for God's sakes. It didn't make a difference.
Well,
the ring wasn't. It's just that was the gimmick.
I think. Well, it did make a difference.
Didn't make a difference.
Oh, you mean in the fights?
Yeah, no,
that didn't make
the
a
whole
difference.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember the triangle. Like, that's not like if they get sued, they could just make a fucking, I don't know, a dick-shaped ring. You know, like it doesn't fucking matter. It's the fact that they are infusing music with this MMA versus boxing shtick. It works. It feels fresh. Team MMA versus team boxing. It feels fucking fresh, man.
You're just like lining them up, Moss. It feels fresh. How many jokes do you make off of that line? I'm trying my best not to make mom jokes. You
and Two Joints need to start a stand-up. You should do a stand-up comedy act together. It would work very well. But seriously, like I don't know. It's wild, and I'm curious what Dana White thinks. Because Ryan Kavanaugh is taking pot shots at him, which, I mean, is a huge compliment to Dana White.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, listen, we've noticed that everyone who either starts an organization, runs an organization, or is a part of an organization has targeted Dana White. And the only reason why is, like you said, they're just looking for a little attention. Dana White is the name. You know, he's the guy. And everybody wants to be like Dana White, but nobody can match him. So what do? You start your own organization, you throw a shit ton of money into it, and then you target Dana White so that you can crowbar your name into those headlines.
Yeah, if I'm Dana White, I gotta be like rock hard, because everyone is going, like Jake Paul is targeting MMA fighters. This guy Kavanaugh is saying to Dana White that he pays his. What did he say? He pays his ushers.
He says
as much as he pays.
He says, Dana, you pay your fighters as much as I pay our ushers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's attacking Dana White. Meanwhile, isn't boxing the bigger sport? But yet everyone's going after Dana White. This is a very good thing for MMA.
Yeah.
It's huge. It really is. Like, Dana White has proven that MMA is the top combat promotion. Like, UFC's it. It's it. Boxing. Listen, you got the gimmick. People love watching boxing. But honestly, it's kind of dying. UFC is fresh. UFC looks, it's something that everyone, the herd is going in that direction. There was a boxing fight that happened Saturday. I couldn't give two shits. Who fought that night? Exactly.
Actually, I do know one of the fights.
I have no idea.
Hofschneider and Kolb fought.
Who?
Hofschneider.
Are you making that up? Is that a real
that
name?
was...
No, I don't even know, honestly.
Yeah, Hofschneider.
Hofschneider?
Versus Kolb.
Is that even right?
Why would I lie about that?
I just don't know. I had no idea. I'm telling you right now, boxing is old news. It is. It is old fucking news. The kids growing up these days, what do you think they're going to the gym for? You think that, I want to be a boxer. No. People want to get into MMA. People like the glitz and glamour of the UFC. They market themselves fantastically. And that's why everyone's attacking the UFC. Because everyone realizes that the UFC is skyrocketing right now. Right? It's going up. Now, the question of fighter pay and all this stuff, and Triller's dumping all this money into these fighters. Triller had, 6 fights? How many fights on the card? The UFC's got 14 fights. If the UFC was dumping $250K on all their fights, and by the way, the first fight on Triller, I'm pretty sure they're not making $100K, $250K. Like, I'm pretty positive that those chicks that fought, the lunch lady that had no fights under her belt, wasn't making $100K.
I just mentioned this, and you told me who?
Jesse. Okay. I was talking about boxing.
Okay.
I was not talking about Triller. I was talking about boxing. So there you go. You proved my point. So all right, let me back up for a second so you know where I am.
No, I'm with you.
Did you know that there was any actual real boxing going on?
Well, everyone in the chat said Teofimo.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
I have no idea. It sounds like a freaking Italian dessert. I have no idea. I could give two fucks about boxing, unless it's like Tyson Fury's or Deontay Wilder's, like these bigger-than-life monsters. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is a little interesting to me, but I couldn't give a fuck. I'd rather watch the UFC a million times over a Canelo Alvarez fight. That's just my opinion over here. But I think with these other organizations, I think they're going to tap into the casual boxing fan, and even a casual boxing fan in myself wouldn't even give a shit about pure boxing anymore. Look at Wreckin' Wu. Says boxing is a joke. It does. It feels old. It feels stagnant. I'm 44 years old and it feels old. I could imagine what a kid thinks. A kid in high school is like, oh, I want to be like a boxer. No, they want to be like a UFC fighter. I'm telling you, I feel like it's a dying thing. I have my finger on the pulse of the people right now, and I think companies like Triller are making it interesting. Is Triller going to be successful in the future? If you're dumping this much money out there, I don't know how it could keep going. Eventually, they're gonna be like, okay, we got to make some money too, right? So I'm curious what the pay-per-views did. I'm curious how they are going to move forward with this thing, but I like it. I enjoy it, so I'm in. Are you in with Triller?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, it's not like my top, top of the list, but yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm down with it.
All right, let me ask you this question.
I guess.
Bellator. You watch Bellator, and I have to basically have smelling salt under your nose.
Well, no, that's just how you perceive it. I actually don't mind watching Bellator.
What would you rather watch?
Well, Triller does. I mean,
be honest.
Triller.
Look at that.
But I actually do enjoy watching Bellator. You just think for some in this weird world
that's not where I'm going. I asked you what you would prefer to watch.
Well,
be honest.
Triller.
Okay.
But
see, that's what I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying. She is like, man, Triller.
But Bellator, I feel, is it just feels like you're watching the same thing over and over again.
Yep. It's true. The UFC is the best at it.
And UFC, I don't feel like I'm watching the same thing over and over again. UFC, I always feel it's always something different. Every card, you're always expecting something different. Even though there's I don't know, it's just the way that they do it, I guess. It's always exciting. It's always fun. But Bellator, I feel like I'm watching the same fucking card every time I watch Bellator, and it drives me insane.
The way the UFC presents itself, the way they market their fights, the way they market their fighters, they have us all believing that they legit have the best mixed martial artists in the world. That's a bold statement. And that's not always necessarily the truth. But we all buy into it, that these guys in the UFC are the best of the best. They market their product beautifully. And I love it. I love the UFC. UFC is still the top for me. It's the reason why we started this channel. And I would always be loyal to the UFC. I love their product very much. But I am also realistic to the fact that we're sold something here. We were sold Conor McGregor. We were sold Ronda Rousey. We were sold Brock Lesnar. They sell us very well. They know what they're doing, and we buy right into it, okay? But when these other organizations come up, they try to chip away at the UFC. It just doesn't work. So what Triller's doing, MMA versus boxing, moving the rules around, a new ring, a musical act, it's just different. Bare knuckle boxing got our interest, right? When BKFC came in, because it's just more carnage. People are dropping quicker, more blood and damage, and it's just interesting. It's exciting. But then once you get desensitized with BKFC, it's just like anything else. Think about it. It's the same shit.
I mean, you're not wrong. I can't think of any. But here's the thing. I think even with BKFC, it's harder to get desensitized than it is for something like Bellator. It takes a lot, I think, to get desensitized from BKFC because, like you said, because it's more intense, I think you're always going to see something different, even if the card is kind of lackluster. Whereas Bellator, it's not like that. Thank you for agreeing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
BKFC is like the top dog with the bare knuckle stuff. They do a good job. They really do. David Feldman's done a lot of good things. But here's the problem. BYB, from the limited amount that I've seen of BYB, it's the same shit. It's going to come in there, and if they pull some big names here and there, they got this triangle thing. I mean, listen, BKFC they don't have a novelty ring, BKFC.
Yeah.
They just have a circle, the squared circle. At least BYB has a triangle, so it's a little different, right? It gives a little,
now they're not very different because of Triad.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other story. But what I'm trying to single out these things. Everything's going to be a dime a dozen. The UFC is so ahead of the game that for Bellator and these other companies to catch up, it's going to take a while. BKFC, a snap of the finger, another company could bypass them. It's that simple. So
how do you think they do that? What would they have to do differently than BKFC?
Just a slight variation of the sport.
I'm trying to imagine.
A big name can completely debunk them.
Yeah, if they have but
people get confused. People are confused. BKFC, BYB, people are confused at that stuff over there. People don't know which is which.
Yeah. Well, it's still new. I think you give it about 5 years. I think it'll be easier to kind of figure out like where they get their upper hand. You have to remember, even BKFC is still relatively new.
Exactly. You're making my point. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not arguing with you.
They're a dime a dozen. Like, seriously, BKFC is interesting right now, but we got desensitized with BKFC. When we first watched it, we were like, oh my God. Like, we were like cringing to the point where we wanted to vomit. Then a couple of shows in, we got desensitized to it, and it's just expected. If someone's face is not falling apart, we're disappointed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's their bread and butter. If they have a fight card of all decisions, which some are pretty good decisions, we just want to see carnage. So that's the thing. I feel these organizations really got to keep on evolving in ways. What Triller's doing is something completely different here. And they have the money to back it up where they're pulling in these big artists. MMA versus boxing is fascinating. I'm telling you, team MMA versus team boxing, I freaking love that.
This is why, like, the whole MMA versus boxing thing, I know they did it with Triller and all that, and Dana White doesn't really show that he's, like, pressed by these other organizations, but I do feel that eventually Dana White's going to dabble into the MMA boxing thing. Because he's already mentioned, UFC branching off into boxing like a year ago or something like that. So I know that Dana White likes to do his own thing and he's top dog or whatever. But if everyone else continues doing this MMA boxing thing, it's only a matter of time before Dana White he has no choice. He has to capitalize on it. Right?
I don't think he will anytime soon. Because he announced Zuffa boxing as this big thing. And then when the pandemic hit, he just pulled the plug. And now when he's asked about it...
Oh, Zuffa, yeah. Zuffa boxing, yeah.
When he's asked about it now, he doesn't even care about it. It's not even his focus.
Well, do you ever think maybe he might be pretending to care about it? To not care about it?
Nope. Dana White is very intelligent. This guy is a seriously good promoter. And he realizes if he goes into this whole Zuffa boxing thing, he's spreading himself thin. And he's putting the attention, he's putting it in all different directions. If he focuses on the UFC and that brand, it's almost unpenetrable. It's just going this way.
Here's why I think even if Dana White was interested in adding boxing or kind of commingling things, that he wouldn't address it is because if he shows any interest at all, then he's under fire. Because he's been the guy to kind of like reject all these other organizations who have come after him. So he would be smart not to act like he has interest in it.
Jesse, you are so off on this. You
say I'm off on everything, though.
No, but I severely disagree. And the reason why is because he realized that if he puts his focus in something else within the boxing world, it's just not good. It's going to water down his product. He needs to get in that war zone, get with these matchmakers, keep the ball rolling. Because let's be serious here. The UFC without Dana White, or if you're losing his attention in certain directions and you don't have him completely focusing on the UFC, that brand it's not completely bulletproof anymore. There are going to be chinks in the armor. There's going to be holes in the force field. And these other companies are going to find ways to attack while Dana's not completely his full attention's not on the UFC. Yeah. And that's what I truly believe here. If you hear him, if anyone asks about Zuffa boxing, he's just like, yeah, it's dead. Now, in the future, down the road, never say never, but right now at this moment, it's not even a thought. Yes, it's not even a thought. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about this situation.
Okay, I'm going to go feature some oatmeal real quick. I'll try and be back. Save the show for 2 hours so I can come back and hang out with you guys because I don't want to miss this.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Why can't the UFC mix things up and add a boxing to card to a UFC fight? Zuffa Boxing could sign Ryan Garcia and put him on a major UFC card. Then you get both combat fans to watch. Why isn't that possible?
So it's fascinating. That donation came in 15 minutes ago, and we literally just addressed it here. Thank you, TryHard7. I think I explained it pretty well, right? I mean, you have to remember, right now, through the pandemic, the UFC showed every sport how to keep a business going, how to sell pay-per-views, how to just show how you can just put your chin down and just move forward. No matter what happens with this whole crazy pandemic, the UFC has hit the nail on the head. They've had 2 of the best years they've ever had. It's been a great promotion. The minute you start spreading that out, I really truly think they were thinking about that Zuffa stuff COVID hit, and they're like, wait, hold on a second. Let's focus. And we have, as fans, got the best product ever with the UFC. So I think that boxing and the UFC is on a freeze right now. And it's going to be on a freeze for a little bit of a little time. There's a million different boxing promotions. There's these novelty boxing acts that we were just talking about. You know, let them do their novelty shit and try to sink their feet in the ground and build their foundation. The UFC's foundation's there already. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep moving forward, keep building the brand, and the UFC will be top dog for a long time. Let's get back into the donations here.
Super chat.
Mr. Mushroom Man.
You guys are hilarious and so authentic. Glad you're thriving. Let's go MMA-Holes. Smiley face.
The Mushroom Man, thank you for the kind words.
Wonderful.
And appreciate that. Listen, we love this. We love doing this. I couldn't think of doing anything else. This is so much fun hanging out with you guys each and every week. So I appreciate that donation. And you guys keep us here. So I appreciate that. If you're just jumping in, we're talking about the UFC. We're talking about Triller that did an event Saturday night. I really like the event, but it doesn't make me like the UFC less. You know what I'm saying? It's not making me... When BKFC came out and we started watching those fights, I was like, I might like this better than the UFC. Like, that was my initial thing. And then, like I said, the more of the BKFC I watched, I started becoming desensitized. And then I was expecting too much and went crawling back to the UFC. With Triller, it's not happening every weekend. You know, it's not like the UFC's pumping them out every weekend. They're hitting home runs, duds here and there, but mostly they're doing a great job. If Triller was every weekend and it got a little watered down, yeah, I'd be sick of it. But right now we're getting Triller, every 5 months? I don't even know when it's coming out. So when the product comes out, it just gets better and better and more interesting to me. It's not a substitute for the UFC. But if they pull things together, it can definitely be something that I'd be very interested in. I liked Saturday. I had a blast. I feel like I totally got my money's worth. I can't think of the last time that we paid for a pay-per-view, and I said, you know, I feel like I got my money's worth there. UFC, here and there, I felt that. But in other promotions, I couldn't even tell you. There was not a boxing promotion. Is not even. I can't even think about another promotion where I was like, oh, that was worth it. I mean, at least XMMA gives you it for free. So, I mean, XMMA is ahead of the game right there. I mean, you're getting that shit for free. And BYB, I got to look into and see if you're getting that for free as well. Let's see what else we got in the donos. Hit the like button, friends.
Wonderful.
Kainoto.
First talk that allows each fighter to only pick 2 disciplines will shoot to the top of this circus fight shit. Or pit one discipline versus another. Strict rules. Imagine a fighter only allowed to bare knuckle and wrestle versus a Muay Thai and BJJ guy.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. It really is. The sky's the limit. You can come up with all different things. Listen, the UFC did something so fascinating where they're like, okay, let's see this fat sumo wrestler fight. I don't know, this Muay Thai striker. You know, like, I don't know. They would just mix and match this crazy stuff here and throw them out there. And then everyone just started mixing the martial arts, and everyone's well-rounded now. Now in the UFC, fighters can do everything. They can grapple, they can strike, they can do legit everything. They're just morphed a perfect fighting machine, these young men and women. So watching the UFC evolve and seeing that, it's fascinating. Yeah, ONE FC is doing things where they're splitting rounds, and 1 minute it's a kickboxing fight, and the next minute it's MMA. You know, it's interesting, but you need the perfect formula. Teams is interesting. Team A versus Team B. It divides an audience, and everyone starts picking sides, and it gets interesting. I like the teams. I like Team MMA versus Team Boxing. It's fun. I think that's a good idea by Triller. I really do. And like I said, you get bigger names. You get more high-level athletes in there. I mean, the boxer that they got in, forgive me for not even know who the hell this guy is, but he fought Anthony Joshua. He fought Klitschko. What was his name? PULEV? Yes, Kubrat PULEV. I mean, he's a legit boxer. And he really showed Frank Mir what was up. Now, thankfully, MMA won. But Frank Mir, well, he just walked in there and collected a paycheck. And Dan Miragliotta caught some heat for it. Let me see if I can find this thing. Well, here's a still shot. Yeah, but PULEV, I mean, he got cracked. Frank Mir was doing the stanky leg. Yeah, it just wasn't a good night for Frankie. It was not a good night, but at least he got paid. And I'm happy. Frank's getting paid. I'm happy Mike Perry's getting paid. And Mitrione, like guys where, they're kind of getting, banished from their organizations and they're out there cashing checks. Good for them. They put in the time. It's kind of wild, though. Mike Perry getting paid more than some of the top UFC athletes. It's kind of wild. I'm just squeezing through some of the Triller stuff here. It's cool to see. Fascinating stuff, this Triller Triad shit.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Triller main event for next year, Machine Gun Kelly versus Conor McGregor at catchweight.
Machine Gun Kelly versus Conor McGregor. I'm telling you, man, it's just crazy. I do like the fact, what I liked about this too was the main event was a legit boxer versus a legit MMA guy, although the MMA guy was way past his prime. It still was a boxer versus an MMA guy. It wasn't a YouTuber versus, a wrestler or, Machine Gun Kelly. It wasn't like Lamar Odom versus some twink singer. It wasn't any of that. I kind of like that Triller steered clear from that. I kind of like that it didn't have Jake Paul. Maybe that's why I like this event so much. The Jake Paul thing is kind of getting old and stagnant. It's going to be in a couple weeks. We'll react to that too. But I think it's refreshing. You had fighters fight. That's what it was. And in time, I'm hoping that these fighters it's more competitive and, you're really like, holy shit, what would this boxer do against this MMA guy? Like, what will really happen? If they can stick to that formula and throw musical guests along the way, I'm in. I'm really in. But then again, I'm a big music fan, man. Like, I'm all about music, man. I love it. I was just before the stream, I'm making my eye poke song. So I was a couple of minutes late. I'm in the middle of putting together and producing an eye poke song. Another smash hit from the MMA-Holes. We just keep it coming. We keep the music flowing. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We got Head Rush, 20% off. Promo code MMAHOLES for Head Rush swag. Christmas. Get your Christmas presents together before it's too late. Head Rush, 20% off. And just use that promo code. We have 2 links in the description down below. And Merry Christmas. At MysticRootsCBD.com, same thing, 20% off the CBD goods with the same promo code, MMAHOLES, just for the MMA-Holes. Don't tell anyone else. Just for the MMA-Holes. It's for you guys. So get your Mystic Roots CBD. That's actually a pretty good present too. Some people are reluctant to try new things and alternative solutions. People just like to fucking pump that Xanax in their system. Well, this here is natural. All natural, and it works. Trust me. I could prove it with my own usage. Love Mystic Roots drops, the Lifted Lotus. So 20% off, promo code MMAHOLES. Also, ESPN Plus. If you're watching the fights, it's pinned in the live chat in the description. This weekend, we'll be back to the UFC Font Aldo. Very good card for a fight night. So if you want to watch the fight night, it's pinned in the live chat in the description. And you can watch along with us. You can hang with the boys. Also, we'll be placing some bets towards the end of the week. And we have a link in the description to mybookie.ag. The promo code is the same thing, MMAHOLES, for a 100% match on your first deposit. So win some money. We got to bounce back this week. We had our first dud of a week, but we're going to bounce back strong. I'll tell you our picks as the week progresses. So we'll get our gambling. Our friend William Knight's fighting against Menafield, so that should be an interesting one.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I'm pretty sure PULEV is the same boxer that kissed that chick reporter that looked like Helen Yee.
Was it? I think I remember that. I don't remember PULEV. I know I didn't see his fight against Joshua. But, I just don't know much about the guy. You look at his resume. He's a pretty decent boxer, though. Try Hard.
Wonderful, wonderful.
What up, Try Hard?
How about combing porno with MMA?
It's been done already. In fact, we covered an event. Thank you, Tryhard and Uncle Chrome. Thank you guys for the donations. Really appreciate the support. But yeah, it's called CAMZAT. CAMZAT, our buddy Felony Charles Bennett was on the CAMZAT card. Actually, Mike Perry, his buddy Alex Nicholson, who's fighting in Jorge Masvidal's bare knuckle league. He was on that card. But yeah, CAMZAT. It was on a porn site. Didn't really work out. Because, you know, it's not like you can't get that family aspect to that, you know? Well, I guess if you have a loosey-goosey family, you can. But, yeah, I mean, there's really not much more I can say about Triller. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I know I'm going to catch some heat because there are a lot of people out there that hate change. They hate difference. They just want to stick to one thing, and I'm cool with that. It's all good. You know, if that's your thing and you just want one thing, you know, you want one flavor, that's cool. But it's a nice, refreshing surprise to see something that I went into thinking this is going to be a complete clusterfuck, and I was entertained. You know, it's very rare that we see stuff like that. Usually, our predictions are going to be, okay, we're going to be cringed out. We're just going to goof on this. It's going to suck. We were even thinking that we weren't even going to react to that event, and because they dragged us in with the whole Metallica aspect, I watched it and I enjoyed it. I did. So it is going to be interesting to see, okay, what's the next gimmick? There's always going to be another gimmick that they're going to be dragging in there, but it was nice to see something refreshing. I would like small town events where people had real beef and settled gypsy style. All right, what would you like to see? I'm curious in the chat, as we do have a plethora of stories to get into, and we'll drag into that. We'll do a little save the show, and hopefully we get some phone calls. We got a long break until Thursday. We'll have some guests ready to come on. Our friend Baby Hulk will be back on. That guy's an internet sensation. You look at Street Beefs. He's got all the views. Millions and millions of views. I mean, this guy's got a lot of eyeballs on him. He'll be on the show Thursday night. We'll have another special guest on Thursday as well. So 2 days in a row, we're going to be taking a quick break, and then we'll be jumping back on Thursday. So hopefully we have a nice long show and we can take some phone calls. Biggest win for Australian boxing. I love boxing. Who's calling in tonight? Let's see. Thought for sure it was a shit show, but it was fun with the music. Yeah, music helped tremendous. Jeff Horn beating Manny Pacman was bigger than this guy beating Lopez. Let's see what else we got here. I would like small town events, so that. Trying to delete Polymarket Bra. How is Little Stoner doing their days? You talking about Felony's kid? Oh, look, Kevin's here, so I can call in and mooch everyone's donations tonight. Undisputed Hemp is bigger. Okay. Alrighty. Man, Australia has had many world champs. Yeah, I mean, there's some very tough athletes that have come out of Australia. I in fact have an Australian handyman coming tomorrow to my house. It was cool when he answered the phone. I was like, is that Sean Hart?
Gaylord.
It wasn't Sean Hart. Yeah, this Saturday we're going to debut our new Eye Poke song. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Another cringy piece of art. I'll also call in, says Tony Trill. In boxing? Yeah, Australian boxers for sure. Wasn't Russell Crowe an Australian boxer? Ariel mentioned MMA-Holes on his show today. Oh my God, that was so nice of him. Kimbo knocked out one of Australia's heavyweight champs. Smack Mountain is ridiculous. All right. Thank you for chiming in. Chief Tane023, welcome. Hope you're doing wonderful.
Wonderful.
Let's look at the some of the news stories that Jesse popped in over here as we are having a little fun on the MMA-Holes Live. So Rampage Jackson said he'd refuse UFC Hall of Fame invite. On me with a fook in check. Kind of wild, man. That was the only interview I got to hear with Ariel, was the Rampage one, because I always like, Rampage calling out, Ariel a
Gaylord.
I think Rampage is a little bit of a homophobic, and it's kind of funny how he just kind of rips on Ariel. But yeah, Rampage was on. He says, honor me with an effing check. Rampage doesn't give a fook. And how do you not love that? And then he goes over the Triller. He didn't even have to throw a punch, collected a check as a coach, quote unquote coach, against Biggs. And good for him. He says he will fight Biggs maybe in March. But how about that? Do you think he's telling the truth if the UFC called him up and say, hey, we'd love to throw a jacket on you and have you and celebrate your history as a UFC fighter? He's like, go fuck yourself. That's pretty badass, man. That's pretty badass. So I'm curious if that's really true. Or does the UFC just say, hey, you know what? Now we're definitely not honoring you. That's the only one I watch. Rampage should check his diaper. If you cover boxing, I will stay here, says Odyssey World. We do cover boxing. We do. We cover like the big fights when it comes to like I said, the Furies, the Wilders. Even if Joshua got into something a little interesting, maybe we'll cover that as well. But we cover mostly. I mean, we're the MMA-Holes, so. It's hard to know how serious he was, though, says Johnny Dean. I don't think Rampage. Listen, I kind of believe him. Mike Perry lives 10 minutes away from me. Let's see. Rampage. How can you not like the guy? I know he's fun, man. Rampage is fun. I hope he slims down a little bit. And if he fights, it's just novelty, fun fight. I mean, in Bellator, he was terrible at the end. That was a mess. It was a mess watching Rampage at the very end. Looked like a walrus out there. Wasn't Rampage all for going to the UFC before that whole Bellator shit show with his contract? I don't remember the logistics of it, but I remember that apparently the UFC said that he was retired and he still wanted to fight. So he was fighting in Bellator and he was claiming that his fans thought he was retired because the UFC was telling everyone that. I don't know how true that is. Rampage looked in better shape cornering fighters than he did when he fought Fedor. That's true. Are they fighting? Rampage? I mean, he says he is. He says he is. Now, do you want to see that? Shannon Briggs versus Rampage. I mean, I have some interest. I do have some interest. And they're both fighters. You know, they're both out of their prime. But I do. Under these Triller rules, yes. At first, we were saying before the event happened, if boxers were fighting MMA guys, they should at least do the favor of running it back in the MMA world. You know, one boxing rule set, one MMA rule set, call it a day. But what Triller is doing with the triad situation, what Triller's doing is they're basically saying, all right, let's cut the middleman. Let's cut out all the fluff. Let's just do one fight. We'll modify the boxing rules. You can clinch up. And this is another thing, too. It's the first time they're doing this when it comes to that whole triad shit. And the rules there, it's going to change. They're going to tweak it up. They're going to tighten it up. And I think the fights are going to get better. I really do. There was a lot of clinching and there was like a lot of arguing with the ref, confusion going on in the fights. Once they tighten up those rules, I think it's going to be pretty good. I really do. Roy Jones was washed already. I think Rampage wins if they do fight. Okay. Maybe with the clinching rules, it does favor Rampage. But, I mean, clearly we know who the better boxer is. Jon Jones loves the blow. Not even comparable. Triad was garbage, says Brett. All right, so Brett, I think you're coming in a little bit late. But I disagree. I was thoroughly entertained throughout. I really was. Is it the UFC? No. And I think this is the problem here. It's such a different product. It's Triad and Triller. It's in its own category. It's this whole other entity, if you think about it. It's not quite combat. It's not quite just a concert. It's kind of both with a little bit of cringe in the middle of it. But the production was better than basically any sort of combat sport you have out there. I mean, the production was on point. I'm a UFC fanboy. Yeah, and that's fine. That's completely fine, man. Listen, I love the UFC. When it comes to all these other organizations, the UFC is always on top for me. We're the MMA-Holes, and we're with the UFC. But I tell you, it's a damn nice alternative. And when I asked Jesse on air, I said, what would you rather watch? Bellator or the Triad in Triller? Guess what her answer was? So it's not good for Bellator. It's not good for these other organizations out there because if Triller goes up against some of these other promotions, chances are most people are going to say, well, fights are okay, but hey, we got a concert we could watch too, you know? We'll see how it goes. I'm going to move into another story. Khabib Nurmagomedov explains why he ripped Justin Gaethje's demand for a title shot. My opinion is my opinion. Now, basically, I mean, listen, we all know He's got his boy, man. He's gonna have to go his boy. And it would be crazy if Islam fights for the belt and the torch has been passed off to Islam Makhachev. I mean, it's amazing. So, I mean, listen, we all know what Khabib's doing here. Frank Mir knocked out on his feet. Let's see. Yeah, all right, so we spoke about that earlier. And, yeah, I mean, PULEV, he made Frank Mir look stupid. But listen, we had MMA defeat boxing. And that was fun. That was kind of fun, man. MMA versus boxing, and MMA won. And I think that surprises a lot of people. Now, in the big fights there, the last one was Mike Perry. It was a close one. If the judges went the other way, well, MMA would have lost. But because of the Mike Perry fight, MMA got the dub for the night. So that was interesting. Let's see. Jon Jones saved some serious humble pie after wrestling with 2016 Olympic bronze medalist Jaden Cox. Did you guys see this? I mean, it's all over the freaking place. Let's see. I mean, I kind of don't care, but I'll show you guys anyway in case you didn't see it. So he's training with Henry Cejudo. He's back in AZ. Jon Jones, which is kind of cool. I mean, listen, Jon Jones is a piece of work. Got banished from his gym, smacked around his fiance, whatever the hell the story is. But here he is now in Arizona. So getting a little closer to. I mean, Albuquerque's pretty close, and now he's in Arizona. He's in our backyard. So you never know. We might have encounters with Johnny Bones Jones again. Here he is over here. I mean, he's wrestling Olympic wrestlers. And this is I kind of like this, right? If Jon Jones is really coming back to the UFC and he's getting his wrestling game on point, it makes for a fascinating return against an Ngannou, against a Gane. He's getting humbled by guys in the gym, learning and sharpening the tools. So it's fascinating. Say what you will about Jon Jones outside of the cage. We all know what he can do in the cage. So I'd be interested to see what happens. Is the UFC going to take him back, which I would say yes. And here he is in Arizona. But people are making such a big deal. Oh, my God, he got humbled in the gym. Whoop-de-doo. Isn't that what's supposed to happen? If you're in the gym, and you're schooling everyone that you're in the wrong gym. Right? So I don't know what the hell the big deal is. Like why everyone's going crazy over this. It's all over the freaking place. More Khabib stuff. Gives update on potential UFC return plans. So I was talking to Jesse about this. Why won't anyone just let this man be? Everyone's like, come back. They did the same thing with Barry Sanders. Let the guy be. I mean, give the guy a break. The guy's the best 155er of all time. Some people put him as the pound-for-pound GOAT. Okay. We could all debate about it, do whatever. He was definitely one of the best. I wish we could have seen him fight a little bit more. I think it really would have solidified the legacy. I've said my piece on that, whatever. But let the guy be, for God's sakes. Why we got to keep on dragging him back into the mix? God damn it. I mean, does anyone give a shit anymore? Like, the fucking guy's going to become like the best coach out there. Think about it. All those guys are just winning fights over and over again. Maybe this is where he wants to be. He's turning into his pops. You know? Jesus. It's so funny. I think Carl's on a delay. He goes, I still think he's a piece of shit. So it's just funny how it's to the Khabib situation. You think Khabib's a piece of shit? Oh, my God. Hooker was ready to ace Hasbulla off Khabib's shoulders at UFC 267. How about Dan Hooker moving down to 145? If he could make that weight, he's pretty dangerous there. I would like to see if he can go down to 145 because at 155, he's hit a wall. He's not going anywhere. But if you get hit 145, I mean, we might have a situation here. Could be like a Barboza situation. Let's see. Cody Garbrandt is on one skinny looking dude coming down to flyweight. Let's see what he looks like. I mean, what do you think? He's going to look fat? Like, what? Oh, bloody elbow. What, like, if he's going down to flyweight, what do you think? He's going to look like a whale? What kind of morons are these guys? Cody Garbrandt's one skinny dude coming down to flyweight. Okay. Yeah, what is he going to look fucking thick? Wow. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? He's skinny. Wow. What a story. He's fucking skinny, man. All right, let's see what else we got here. Someone fire that writer immediately. Immediately. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got to save the show. Hold on a sec. Wow, I went fucking fast. What do you guys think about the dislike? It's so fucking funny, man. So they got rid of the dislike. Hit the like button, by the way. 161, smash the like button. But the dislike is just like, it's there, but you can't see how many dislikes. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I don't even know why they even have it anymore. But it's got to be so frustrating to people. It's like, I hate you. Let me make 400 accounts and dislike that stream. No, they took it away. No. It's pretty fucking funny. It's like, how dare you? And it just says dislike. I wonder if they're going to keep it like that. I mean, let's get rid of the number and write dislike. It's really weird. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, who gives a shit if there's a number there? I don't, like, are people going to cry and jump off a bridge? Like, who gives a fuck? But they got rid of it. So hit the like button because you can see that number. All right, let's do a save the show. So at this stage of the game, like I said, we're not going to be live until Thursday. We'll have some guests on. But we'd love to extend the show. Drop a donation, and whatever comes in, we will extend that much time. So $2, 2 minutes, $10, 10 minutes, $20, 20 minutes, 69 turkey twerk dollars, 69 minutes. If we go up to 2 hours and it surpasses that, we'll roll over the time to next week. Let's see if some heroes tonight. If not, we'll see you Thursday night. All right, I'm going to start the clock over here. Will there be a hero? On a Monday night, a post-turkey stream.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right, so as we're waiting to see if there'll be some heroes, and a thank you to everyone that donated. Really appreciate it. And let me know in the chat if you're new to the channel. I think we made a bunch of new friends on Saturday night. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. And to the OGs, love you much. Love you much, guys and gals. I want to look at this UFC card real quick. So we spoke about the Triad, the Triller thing. Okay, so Font versus Aldo. This is a fascinating fight. So Rob Font, another CES guy we've seen fight over there on the East Coast. And this is a big thing here. It's a big thing against Jose Aldo. I kind of want to pick Aldo, but I don't know if I'm going to pull that trigger. Aldo is the underdog. Mamma mia. Let's go to Tapology and check this thing out. I'm going to see if there's anything that sticks out that I want to place some bets on. But it's a good fight, man. It's a good main event. 14 fights on this card. So we're returning 14 fights. Bonus points. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Moss, you dope. Represent New York. Thank you. Are you calling me a dope? You dope? Or I'm dope like cool or a dope like an idiot? Because I could be both. So, but thank you, Mr. Mushroom Man. You're a good hole. You're a good MMA hole. Fiziev versus Riddle. Oh, the return of Fiziev. This guy's a lunatic. Oh, this is a good fight. Isn't that Izzy's boy too? Yeah, New Zealand, Brad Riddle. That's a good fight. I got rid of my good soundbite. That's a good fight. Clay Guida returns against Leonardo Santos. Okay. Clay Guida is always a lunatic. They're both coming off a loss, so that should be interesting. Clay Guida. This guy's a fucking nut job. Jimmy Crute versus... Whoa, that's a tough fight. Crute versus Hill. Woo, that's a good one. Damn, man. Okay, so we're a couple of fights into this thing, and it looks pretty good. That's all main card stuff. What else we got? Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis, the Action Man. Let's go, baby. Our friend, the Action Man. They're throwing him to Brandon. Oh, my God. So he's taking another fight on short notice. Holy smokes. By the way, 2:30 left in the saves. We may not get any of the extensions tonight. Oh, my God. Will there be a hero tonight? If not, it's all good. We'll see you Thursday. But love to take some phone calls. Okay, let's see. So wow, that's a good main card. Damn, man. There's not one fight I don't like there. This Pitolo guy, I hate this guy because he beat my boy Justin Sumter in the Contender Series. But he's a solid fighter. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, but he's real tough, this kid. Man, he won 1 fight out of his last 5. This kid needs a win. So Coconut Bombs fighting Thunder. And Tudor. All right, we got 2 minutes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
We got a 2-minute extension.
Mosuel one sexy motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Let's go.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, we got 2 minutes, baby. 1:35 on the clock. Will there be another hero? Thank you, Mike H. You're wonderful, wonderful. Appreciate that.
Wonderful.
Mikey H. So yeah, even though there's a lot of reds on this Pitolo resume, he's still fun, man. The guy's a tough kid. Jake Matthews, the youngster, the Bieber man, is fighting Jeremiah Wells. Okay, that should be interesting. Coming off a loss over there. Jeremiah Wells, 3-fight win streak. 1 in the UFC, got it done with a knockout. So Jake Matthews is a tough guy, though, to finish, man. Even though he got that submission with Sean Brady, he's just a tough kid. Okay. It's good fights. I ain't gonna lie. I like these fights over here. Zuma Gala versus Cape. Cape's a fun kid, too. But Cape, did he bounce back with a win? Yes, he did. Yeah, so Cape needed that win in his last fight. And he's fighting Zumagulov, who looks like Rob Schneider mixed with... what's that guy's name? What's that actor's name? I can't remember.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Pulse!
Am I too late? Save this bitch.
Okay, we got 4 minutes. If we can get to 20 minutes, we can open the phone lines, but we only got 4 minutes over there. Thank you, Pulse, man. You're wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful.
16-15. All right. Only 2 heroes with 4 extra minutes. It's all good, though. I'll see you Thursday night. But I appreciate it, guys. I really do appreciate that. And looking like phone calls are not going to happen tonight, but it's okay. Oh, my God. At least we'll get a solid 4 extra minutes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is there a discount for phone calls tonight since it's Cyber Monday? No, that's not, no. That's not going to happen. Rules are rules. But thank you. All right, let's add 4 to the clock over here. 4 minutes.
Super chat.
We'll add that. Mr. Mushroom Man goes 6 minutes.
You are awesome. That's what it is.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you, my friend. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, 6 fucking minutes. All right, so we won't see a return to Jessie tonight, but we'll catch her on Saturday night. All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Hit the fucking like button. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I didn't want to talk to Kevin anyway, so it actually works out pretty good. All righty. Yeah, so like I said, on Thursday, we will be having our friend Baby Hulk return to the show. We'll be talking some UFC. We'll be talking about his upcoming fights. The man's a double champ now. Baby Hulk, internet sensation, Baby Hulk. All right, let's look at the rest of this card over here, and then we'll wind it down. Thank you once again for hitting the fucking like button on a Monday night. Hopefully everyone's Thanksgivings were wonderful, wonderful. Mallory Martin versus Cheyenne Vismus. What? Guess someone got divorced. Guess someone got divorced over here. No more buys anymore. And I kind of get it. This girl over here, we were saying we think that she's a little, I don't know. I called it. I called this girl's a little, little one of them. You know what I'm saying? So.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Mike H. All right, we'll end it. We'll add it. We'll add another 2. We'll drop another deuce on there. All right. Yeah, we'll put 7 minutes on here. How about that? Thank you, Mike H. Appreciate that. We'll bend the rules since that was nice. But yeah, Cheyenne buys turns into Cheyenne Vlismas. So I guess she got divorced. She was married to another fighter, and she is fighting Mallory Martin. So we'll find out how she does as the new name, the old name, I should say. Here it is, William the Nightmare. Who I gotta say this, man, real nice guy. We've known him for a very long time. We've known him since the regional scene. William Knight. He's just not one to do interviews. He's done plenty of interviews with us, but it's difficult. It's tricky, and especially when it's rolling up into a fight. This man just shuts off. He shuts down. So William Knight's fighting Alonzo Menafield. This fight was supposed to happen before, and now it's finally coming through. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. We got 2 muscle-bound men about to collide. William Knight bouncing back with a win against Fabio Charant, a man who was from the Massachusetts area, and he took care of business there. with a crazy knockout. And Menafield, the Atomic, on a 2-fight win streak. Ed Herman got the job done. And a submission on Fabio Charant, the same guy that William Knight. So they have, let's see, William Knight got the Von Flue. And here's the counter left hook by the Nightmare. They are throwing down early on this card. I am actually surprised that this is not on the main card. It's a very interesting matchup. So 5 fights in, we get Menafield versus Knight, and I'm looking forward to it. Anytime William Knight fights, I get pumped up, man. I get pumped up. You know, I love all those muscles glistening. So William Knight, the Nightmare, can he get the job done? He is an underdog in this fight, so maybe I'll throw some money on him. Maybe I'll throw some money on the Nightmare. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be glistening muscles going at it, and it's going to be wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Gaylord.
All right, let's see what else we got. Mirzakhanov versus Vendetta. I don't really know much about these guys, to be honest with you. I don't fucking remember. All right, he came from the Contender Series, so we definitely reacted to his fight. I just don't remember the guy. So Brave Contender Series. This guy's coming in. Romanov got the loss. Justin Taffa win. Why don't I know? Oh, he came from the Contender Series too. I don't know why. He slipped my mind. Maybe I'll see when he fights, but we'll see. Alex Morono versus Mickey Gall. What? Hey, Mickey. You're so fine, you blow my mind. There he is. Mickey Gall's return. Off of the win. Morono. Didn't he have a Cowboy Cerrone win? Is that what I'm thinking about here? Yeah, he did. So on a 2-fight win streak, Cerrone and Zawada. And then Mickey Gall's got his win over Jordan Williams. All right. So we got some known guys. Second fight in. And wow, Louis Smolka. Man, they're doing him dirty. Wasn't Smolka fighting for a belt not too long? Well, I say not too long ago. It kind of was long ago. The hell, wasn't this guy like a contender at one point? And here he is. The first fight of the night. So if you look at this card, it's pretty well balanced. 14 fights, and you got a little something for everybody. I like it. Let's see what time this card starts. 5 p.m. So I guess this is... I always get confused because I guess this is on our time. So 5 p.m. our time, so it would be 7. All right, so it's a later card. Back to the nighttime. So 5 p.m. our time, so that would be 7 Eastern time, and then 10. Wow. A fight night starting at 10? That seems a little late, no? Wow, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fight. Yeah, it's going to start pretty late. It's like a pay-per-view. Interesting. Okay, so there's your card over there. Like it. I'll get some predictions ready for Thursday. We'll have our boy Baby Hulk back on. Looking forward to chatting with him. Our special guest will come on after Baby Hulk. A big thank you, chat. Let's get some last words from the community. The chat room. What do we got? Who's left in this bitch? Let me get some final comments over here that we're going to wind this thing down. Thank you to everyone that jumped in. 87 likes. Completely unacceptable. I'm glad we're leaving early tonight. What is going on? I rewatched the Triad. Not going to lie. Coming from a wrestler, the active clinch was satisfying. Maybe if they add 1 limit takedown per round would be interesting, says Mediterranean. Mediterranean, I mean, listen, if you watch the beginning of the show, I was singing its praises. It was a surprising, delightful fight. Fight card. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. There's not really much more I can say. Let's see. Sweet Baby Hulk coming back. Yeah, listen, a viral sensation on the show. Very excited to have Baby Hulk back. He's a good guy. And he got another win. So, you know what? I'll try to pull that fight up so we can, talk about it and get his thoughts on what went through. We out here, Moss. What up, Martin? Hey, what up, Martin Unreal? How you doing, bud? Hopefully you're wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Hope you're doing well, buddy. Good to see you in the chat. I downloaded it. I don't know if Drunk Savage is here, but I downloaded that crab game. That's like Squid Game. So maybe on the second channel, the gaming channel, not the MMA-Holes. Might jump into that. Awesome stuff. I'm so grateful to have this rolling in my life. Yeah, baby. Let's go, Mr. Mushroom Man. Let's go. You're the man, buddy. You're the man. If Mickey is an underdog, that's a food bet. Dude lost to Diego. Well, Diego was putting fingers in his ass. I mean, come on, give him a break. The noses are going to make Twitter even more gay.
Gay, Lord.
I don't even know what the hell that means. Drunk Savage died. No, he got resurrected. He came back. They should have dropped the ounces by 1, if not 2, in the gloves and made them 7 or 6 ounces, then people would been getting slept left and right. I mean, it was 8-ounce gloves. There was an eye poke. We have an eye poke song coming out. I don't mind the 8-ounce gloves. It's all right. I mean, 4-ounce gloves would have been more. I think I would have enjoyed 4-ounce gloves a little bit more, but I'd still rather those 8-ounce open fingered gloves than full-blown, boxing pillows. So I didn't hate it. He didn't die, he's slapping his nuts. A death poll. We should have MMA Holes death polls. That would be a good idea, right? Get a pot together. Who's going to croak first? The problem is, a lot of people would die in the community. We would never know. We would never know unless, they, in their will, it says, hey, jump in the chat and say I'm dead. It was better than boxing gloves. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to say, hey, let's modify the gloves some more, I think that was the least of the problems. We get more competitive fights. We get, I don't know, more elite fighters in there. It's going to be a whole different game. They're going to alter some of the rules, too. How's Diego doing? I don't know, man. Let's look over his Twitter. It's a good question. I haven't really seen much of what Diego Sanchez was doing. Diego Sanchez. I love my mamas. Well, he loves his mom. And 10 hours ago, he's still alive. Let's see. 8:52 a.m., November 29th. This has been the fight of a fighter's life. No fight camp or opponent has dominated me like this. It's been a long fight. Last night, I think I finally win a round with the help of my corner, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and Joshua Fabia. The many candles, prayers lit in the hearts of my loved ones. Okay, so he's better. He'll be all right. I think he's being a little dramatic now. Come on, bro. It's okay. You're going to get through this, buddy. It sucks he had to go to the hospital. And he loves his mom. That's nice of him. See you Thursday. Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA hole.